Winslow never had any firehouse pets, where Waterville had many. And Jack was their very first one that they had, so I created a couple children's books out of Jack. So in the beginning, Winslow never had a firefighting crew until Hollandworth and Whitney came along and built their plant. And they had their own firemen. They had hydrants inside the mill. You see the word Taconic Village Corporation. When Waterville first began in 1809, it was known as the Taconic Village Corporation. They ran the fire department. And in 1878, they ran into financial troubles in Waterville. At that time, the town of Waterville got them out of debt by purchasing the fire department. So those three entities pretty much covered Winslow. If Winslow had a fire call, a fire or something, they'd call Hollandworth and Whitney, and the only thing that they could do at that time, if there was a fire within the vicinity of the mill, they could help out because they laid lines from their hydrant to the call. Where the other parts of it, Waterville will bring in their hose wagons or their steamer at the time, but they had to have some form of water. Basically, if you had a fire out in the country, you were pretty much just let it burn. There ain't much you can do about it unless you had a water source nearby. Okay. But the only time that Waterville would come over to Winslow is if a town official would call over to Waterville and request it, and that could be the fire chief. But he had to talk to a town official in Waterville to get the agreement. It just took forever. So, but then Winslow decided that we want our own fire department. So in March of 1907, they created their own fire department. They purchased the wagon and all the equipment. The horses came, Winslow never owned any horses. Those horses were on loan by Procter & Bowie. Used to be right there at the corner of Bay Street and the bridge. And they would keep a horse at night at the firehouse, and then in the daytime the horse would go back to Procter & Bowie so they could use it. The firehouse that they first had, and you'll see it in there, is still standing today. It's on Benton Avenue. This is some of the stuff about the fire department. Eugene Allen was the first fire chief. He was on there for about 5-6 years, and he tried to kind of modernize, follow, the stuff that Waterville did and all that kind of stuff. They tried to regionalize back in the 90s, 2000s. We ended up sharing a fire chief between Waterville and Winslow. That lasted, 12 years, and now they're back to they each have their own fire chief. Bill Page was the first Winslow fire chief that was career, full-time fire chief. They worked